The good news is that CEOs today, according to Gartner's recent research, says that CEOs' interest in IT is the highest it's been in over a decade. So for many of us, that's good news because most C-suite executives typically think of IT as this cash-sucking sound, this necessary evil. The unfortunate thing is that while their interest is high, they're not certain what to do with that interest. Less than 22% of CEOs have IT priorities in their top three. Only 38% are spending more on digital marketing, and even fewer even understand the concept of the Internet of Things. And I think they're interested in IT now more than ever because of the massive security breaches we've seen around the country, and even dating back almost a year ago now with the Affordable Care Act rollout. Clearly a technology rollout that C-suite and the rest of the country followed closely. Now, I think there are a variety of reasons why the C-suite has a confidence gap. It's very real. And one of the very first things that I think they hold on to in the C-suite is this notion that IT doesn't matter. And if those of you who remember that article from Harvard Business Review 10 years ago now by Nicholas Carr, where he said IT doesn't matter, his assertion was that IT was it was a commodity-based service, and you're not going to differentiate with IT. And that, quite frankly, IT would be boring to manage. And consequently, he suggested that organizations spend as little money as possible on technology. And so that was pre-iPhone, pre-Facebook, pre a lot of the digital revolution elements that we see now in the marketplace. They also think that IT costs so much. They like to bitch, moan, and whine, or as I say, BMW drive, about IT costs. And frankly, they complain to peer groups, they complain to board members, friends and family that IT just simply costs too much. And part of that, I think, stems from the fact that they really don't understand IT, and they're embarrassed by their lack of knowledge. The vast majority of C-suite executives are now in their late 50s, which meant a good half of their career was spent being formed pre-digital. In addition, they don't understand this connection between customer experience and the brand. And you can see that in a lot of CEOs. In fact, when President Obama was talking about the Affordable Care Act rollout last year, he was basically saying, don't worry about the website, the underlying products are rock solid and sound. And unfortunately, that's the same sort of perspective that CEOs have far too often with their own go-to-market solutions. In addition, when you ask C-suite executives about strategy, it's not their reflex or instinct to include IT in that. So it's kind of an oxymoron in their minds. They don't think of connecting IT to strategy of the firm. And frankly, IT leaders simply do not speak the language of business very effectively. And we're our own worst enemy. And so these 6 characteristics really shape that confidence gap that I'm talking about. Now, if you extend those 6 characteristics to boards of directors, you'd see that their average age now is over 63 years of age, which means largely their experience professionally was all shaped in the pre-digital era. And less than 1% of those board members were CIOs. So they inherit all these other characteristics that we talked about earlier, where they're unfamiliar with IT, they're embarrassed about their lack of knowledge, and so forth. So with their interest high and their lack of knowledge about IT, this confidence gap is very real.